right, guys, we are here with Ricky Carmichael, multi-time champion, indoors, outdoors, the GOAT. And man, I had a lot of memories coming here to Gatorback. I went right back to a couple weeks I spent with you when we were teammates in '97.
Yep.
You and I were kind of laughing at different stories, but man, so much comes back when I come back to this place and remember you getting your first win ever.
Yeah, I don't remember landing on you though. I don't.
Yeah.
Was it?
I got a little hook in my finger just to remind me.
When was it? Because
I want to say second moto.
Was it?
Yeah.
Right
out of is this the Gator pit?
Yeah.
Yeah. So right out of the Gator pit, it was a little different, and he just
did he crash?
First lap. No, I did. He didn't.
Did he even know that he landed on you?
Probably not. That makes it worse.
I hear you.
So much worse. I go to the hospital.
I'm trying to think. Yeah. I mean, obviously, I remember that week for sure. The 2 weeks, because it was after you did Atlanta, then here, then Daytona. It was like that traditionally for so many years, and I kind of wish we would go back to those days. It was cool, but
it was a lot though to have to switch from Supercross and then okay, now we're going to race a national on a pretty legit track. Like this thing would get beat up.
So see, are you complaining?
No, but I'm just saying it was a drastic change.
Do you think it'd be too much for today's society to throw in an outdoor race?
Dude, listen.
7 races in?
Baby poop is more firm than most people today. So yes.
I teed you up. I teed you up.
I'm gonna get letters. Send them to Ricky Carmichael.
That's right. See, it's
AOL.
Blame him. I didn't say anything this time. Go ahead.
All right. Well, anyway, we've been spending the whole day on the Triumph. We had Ezra Lusk out with us
which
today
was cool.
riding it.
Yeah, great to see a Yogi out there riding. It was cool.
Pulled the bear out of hibernation. That was a lot of fun. Tell me about how you got started with Triumph, because I'm kind of like surprised that they're jumping in, Beta's jumping in, Ducati's jumping in. I'm like, what's going on? I don't feel like there's room for it all. And they mentioned in a presentation they did last night that off-road sales are up like almost 100% over the last 5 years. And I'm like, okay, well, that's great news.
Yeah, that's why. So the relationship and how I got into Triumph was Rod Lapuzniak, who runs Triumph America. He's national sales manager. He's a big boss over here. He was my boss at Suzuki. And he left Suzuki, and I had a great relationship with him at Suzuki. And when he left, we obviously stayed in communication. We had beach house at the same town, and all that. So we were
rich guys like
no, definitely not.
Get on your yachts.
No.
Caviar.
That's the working man's beach there. So that's where the inception of the relationship was, and he knew when that they were gonna have this TF line coming out, MX, SX, and an Enduro model coming out. And he knew kind of like that I was at the end of my road with Suzuki. It had run its course. So about a year and a half before they got the green light from UK headquarters to start this project, I started riding their Tiger off-road bike. Adventure bike, and just kind of like by happenstance. And so after that, and fast forward a year and a half, he's like, hey, if Suzuki doesn't do anything, talk to us. We got this in the pipeline. So I was on Triumph before this even had happened. One thing led to another. My Suzuki deal dried up, and this opportunity came about, and I was ready for a change anyways. And once Rod said, hey, this is what we're looking for you to do, this is what we would like you to do, would you entertain this? And I had some questions, because up until Rod left Suzuki and went to Triumph, even though it was iconic of a brand it is, I just didn't know enough about it. So I started doing my homework, and gathering as much information as I possibly could. And I had a bunch of questions to ask about him, specific questions, things that, budgeting and what's this look like, and hey, to see how serious they were. And they never batted an eye. They were super receptive to everything that, we had to tell them, or offering information, and just open ears. And it really made me respect them business-wise, because as you know, a lot of major corporations, you go in there and they know it all. You're not going to tell them much, right? And that's what it wasn't like that. You were someone, and not saying that myself or the people that I have confidence in know everything, and they were awesome. It's almost like they knew what they didn't know, and they were all open ears. And that's basically the short version of the long story.
And so there had to be some points before today, though, where you were going, man, are we going to get there? This is building a dirt bike and competing with these brands that have been at it for decades and decades is not a small task.
Yeah, I mean, Japanese engineers are no dummies. They make good product.
Yeah.
You know that. And, you know, so that's what we're competing with. And those are the questions that I had for them. Like, and then we got into the racing side of things. Like they want to know about racing budgets, and, you know, like it's gonna cost this, and they never batted an eye, and they were all in. I mean, listen, they've been in the motorcycle industry for a very long time, so they know what they're doing, but maybe not necessarily in moto. But they saw the value, and that just shows you how strong our market is in off-road motorcycling because of the growth. And so they were willing to make the long-term investment, and they did. I don't know that I never once thought that it was never going to happen. Ever did. I got bummed. I wouldn't even say bummed. There are times where I got frustrated. Like, man, I wish this process would hurry. But like you said, building something from the ground up. This isn't a copy and paste motorcycle. It's not. They didn't buy any other brand and then put their logo on it. I mean, we had to go through the checks and balances stages of, you know, what material are we going to use? Then we have to do the R&D testing for that, which is better, regardless of what I might think is better or our other test pilots or engineers. I mean, we had to go through those procedures. And so it was a lot of fun, but just time consuming. And then once you get a direction, and I promise I'm going to land my plane too, but I'm going to give you an example. So when we're down to the wire on the chassis, and you're making these crucial decisions before it goes to the production line, and if you get it wrong, it's not good on the cost, and it's frowned upon. So you have to be extremely thorough with your procedure, your decisions, and that's why it's taken so long. And you make a if you needed to change the chassis, well, that puts you two more months back.
Yeah.
You just don't change the chassis.
No.
And it's better in 2 weeks. So it's just stuff like that, man. It just takes time to get it right.
You were confident in the process the whole time,
yeah.
and had full faith in that it was going to come through.
I was pleasantly surprised from the first time that I ever worked with them in a testing situation, which was the week that COVID hit. It was right after Daytona Supercross. We rode at Earl May's house in Tallahassee, I think Tuesday and Wednesday, and then my place on Thursday. And then COVID hit and it shut down. But that was the first time that I had tested with them. We didn't test they didn't have any frames. The first time that we tested, they had like swing arms and things of that nature, and we're using other bikes as baselines, and then putting some of their parts on those bikes to see how it works, see if we could feel the difference, what was better, kind of get a direction. Like a small example would be design of the swing arm. And then they had a couple linkages and things like that.
So you were mounting it onto other brands and just seeing the difference.
Yeah, and so they could kind of give the engineers a direction. And what I'm telling you, like, they had so many parts and pieces, so many variations of those parts and pieces. And I've always, from the first time that I got to work with those engineers, and we've been in the industry for a long time. We worked with some great people at other manufacturers, some smart people in this industry, and these guys rivaled the other engineers that I've worked with. Dude, they're good. Yeah. I was blown away from the first time I worked with them.
Is the hardest part to develop a frame? Is that the hardest part of the machine?
Yeah, I feel like that is the hardest part, because that's your base. And if you don't get that right, there's a problem.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, then
you're chasing rabbits the whole time.
Then you're trying to Band-Aid it. So that was the hardest part. And another thing too is just hoping and wishing and wanting it to work out well, and that the consumer likes it. the people buying the motorcycle. And so you have to, I believe that you have to find a good balance. You have to find something that has good hold up also, but you have to have something that's compliant for, a vet rider that's going to buy this motorcycle that don't ride to the speeds that say you do or I once did, or just even like a local pro that can put load on the frame that can kind of blow through like light choppy acceleration bumps or bumps coming into corners. Like, we didn't want them to get on the bike and have a rigid feel, but we needed to hold up for faster riders.
Yeah, it's really
It's
tough.
tough.
People don't think of that. You've got to catch every weight, every skill level, every riding style, and try to find this
A good balance.
Yeah, something that's very friendly to all of it.
Right. And I was, like people say, aluminum chassis, steel chassis. I personally like aluminum chassis better. And the reason that I like them better is because I feel like they have more potential. There's more things that we can do to them to make them better. They're going to continue to get better. Where I don't know that the steel chassis has that ability. I feel like it's been around for so long and it's been polished so many times or band-aided so much time. I don't know. I can't see it being much better than it already is, where I feel like the aluminum chassis, it still has some areas to evolve and continue to get better. So I was a huge proponent of the aluminum chassis. If we didn't go that route, it was what it was going to be, and I was okay with that, but I'm glad that we ended up there, and I think that we have a really good compromise. I really, truly do, and that took a while, and the last... Right before we went to production, there was one feel, and Ping, you know how this is, like, and this is where I felt really good after this test, is we're like, okay, it has this one, like, rigid feel. I'm getting too much feedback to my hands, and I couldn't identify it in the actual frame. And so we started, changing certain bolt-on parts, and we did that, and boom, it fixed it. It fixed it. I'm like, thank goodness, because I'm like, if this isn't right and it is the chassis, dude, this is going to put us a couple more months back. And at this time, now we were getting some serious heat from the press and like, is this thing even real? Blah, blah, blah. So I was happy about that. It ended up being, a component, and we changed the component, and like, boom, the feeling went away. I'm like, thank goodness. And so that was comforting. But that's a testament again to not only like, not to take anything away from the engineers, but those computers do some cool stuff and can get us really close right off the bat.
Yeah, you didn't have any part of this launch, this marketing program where they were like, here's our foot peg pin. And it was like, damn it, show me this bike. I want to see this thing.
That's what,
They did a
listen,
piece at a time.
so I'll never forget this, and this is my boss at the headquarters. I mean, he's like, could you imagine if we would have showed the bike? And then we wouldn't have had it out on showroom floors. So now how do you think that it would feel? Like you'd look like a moron, basically.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
He got me, but I'm like, dude, just show people. They'll be stoked. They're like, yeah, we'll do that. What happens if we have to change it? Because I was wanting to show people before we were signed off on the production line, but you wouldn't have been able to tell anything that's changed now. But I wasn't part of the marketing strategy, but I also, and I know like some people frowned upon it, but they've been in business for 125 years or something like that. They know what they're doing. And
Well, I tell you this.
I know you didn't like it, right?
I hated it. I am going to just rip this thing to shreds. No, we had a blast today, and it's an incredible bike. And I think what struck me the most about it...
Are you saying that just because I'm here?
No, I mean... We'll talk to Yogi. He's going to
Okay.
do the review on it. You ask him. I
Okay.
don't think he's going to lie to you.
Okay.
This
No,
man's
he won't.
honest.
He won't lie.
Honest as they get.
He won't.
The coolest thing to me wasn't even today riding. It was just looking really closely at it finally yesterday.
Yeah.
The welds, the machining of everything. Like, there's nothing even close to this. You look at Japanese bikes, which we talked about. They've been around forever.
No,
they're awesome.
And dude, they're good. There's
But
nothing wrong with
this
complimenting
is
them.
This is another level of quality, and it's just really cool to see.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of, they raised the bar. And then this whole event, just they've been over the top. There's, I think you and I were just talking about, there's like 80 people running around.
They're great people. And the cool thing about Triumph, so when I've been over there several times to headquarters throughout this process, and one thing that I want people to understand and possibly respect about it, that company is I feel like all the engineers and certain people in certain departments all touch every piece of product that they make. So there is a want and from those employees to be the best. You know, they're touching every product that comes off the line there, and that's something special. They take pride in their job, and that's cool to see, man.
Now, is that something that you think is pretty common in today's day and age?
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yes.
You
People
liar.
taking pride and like, yeah, really wanting to do the best in their job, giving the extra effort. Of course. Yeah, it's so common in today's world.
I teed you up there, buddy.
Yeah, he did. I teed you up early, so I had it coming back. Yeah, it was a comforting a feeling, and also like just being someone and not a name and a number was pretty cool. Like I didn't want to do this just for a paycheck. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm in a fortunate situation, and I've had some great people along the way take great care of me, and I wouldn't have gained anything by doing that. I wanted to enjoy the process. I really, really, really did, and I wanted them to enjoy it as well.
Well, I think everyone is going to be stoked when they get to actually see this thing in a dealership
Thanks, dude.
soon.
That means
right?
a lot, because I know that you guys and I wanted you guys to critique it 100%. And this is what I was so looking forward to this day, because I'm like, here's the creation. I mean, tell us. You know, you guys are the test.
Yeah.
You know, people keep asking me like, what do you think? What do you think? And I'm like, we're going to find out. We're going to find out when you guys ride it, and when the general consumer gets to purchase this motorcycle. That to me, if we can get good reviews and the people that are buying these motorcycles enjoy it, that to me will feel like I'm satisfied and I've accomplished what I wanted to accomplish. It's not like, would I love to see the race team win races? Absolutely. I want them to win races. I want them to win championships. But I want to see just the normal person enjoy this. That's where I feel like it'll hit home, and I'll feel really accomplished. Wow. Everybody that has had their hand in this, they should feel a sense of accomplishment from that.
Well, I appreciate the time, buddy.
Yeah,
and congrats
absolutely.
on this
I'm glad
project.
you're here.
Yeah,
Thank you
me
very
too.
much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Well, we got more to come, but I appreciate you. Stay tuned. We've got reviews on this bike coming, race spec videos. Check them out.